What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome into episode number 689 of Underground Sports Philadelphia, presented by the City of Vineland. It's your boy KB coming at you. Another Victory Monday episode of Underground Sports Philadelphia as the Birds beat down on the Dallas Cowboys. We will go around the NFL. We'll recap this massive Eagles win. And ladies and gentlemen, what did I tell you? What did I tell you coming out of the bye? This chunk of games, we would know exactly what we need to know about this Philadelphia Eagles team. I'll get into what we exactly know about this Philadelphia Eagles football team. We'll get into the Sixers as they finally win a game at home. My guy, Jared McCain, is legit. And we'll also get into this absolutely insane diatribe that we've seen online with Michkov being a healthy scratch the past couple games for the Flyers. We'll get into that and whatever else comes to my mind. But it is the solo Sunday taking you into Monday episode of the pod. Make sure you guys are following us on the socials at Underground PHI across the board. Just search Underground Sports Philadelphia on social media. You will find us. Follow us. It really helps us continue to grow, helps us, nourish and help this community flourish of what we want it to be. So follow us down into the Underground and follow us on the socials. You can follow me on Twitter at KBIZZL311 and Instagram and Threads at KBIZZLE11. Subscribe to the pod. I'm going to say that again. Subscribe to the pod. Now, everybody, I'm going to be like Dora the Explorer. Can you say subscribe to the pod? Great job. Subscribe to the pod, everybody. Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Leave a 5-star rating and review. It goes a long way for helping the show continue to grow. Helps our community continue to just evolve, hit new heights, and lets us do more dope stuff with and for you guys. So keep subscribing on Apple and Spotify. Keep leaving those 5-star ratings and reviews. It really does help when you guys do so. And, of course, subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. That is where you get full video episodes of this show twice a week. This, full video episodes of every show on our network, clips, shorts, live streams, original video content. It's all on our YouTube channel. We're ever so close to 1,000 subscribers, guys. I want to hit 900 subscribers in the next week or so. We are 32 subscribers away from 900, which means we're 132 away from 1,000. Subscribe. Leave a like on the video. Drop a comment in the comment section. And click that bell icon so you know whenever new videos go live. And leave us a voicemail. It's been a while since we've had voicemails on the show. I want to hear from you guys on these episodes. Monday episodes, Monday mail. I want to hear voicemails. Leave a voicemail. It's linked in the description. Our voicemail line, speakpipe.com/Underground Sports Philadelphia. That is where you can interact with the show. Get involved. Be a part of these Monday episodes. Leave us a voicemail. Speakpipe.com/Underground Sports Philadelphia. And, of course, guys, this show is presented by my hometown, the City of Vineland. And the City of Vineland Municipal Calendar features city-organized, city-sponsored, and city-affiliated events that are of public interest. The calendar, which is accessible at vinelandcity.org, is a good way for residents and visitors to build awareness, remain engaged with city government, and participate in local events. You can also follow the City of Vineland on social media via their Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube pages. And through these tools, you can stay connected to the community and get important announcements about programs and services offered by the city. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. And big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast.
I'm Mayor Anthony Finucci. If you're looking for the right location, think Vineland, New Jersey. Our pro-business approach is supported by financial incentives, workforce development programs, and other resources which can give your business a competitive edge. Whether you're starting a new business or expanding to new markets, our business environment, infrastructure, accessibility, and quality of life make Vineland an ideal location. More information about how we can help your business grow can be found at vinelandcity.org. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, for the first time since November of 2017, almost exactly to the date, the Philadelphia Eagles have gone down to Dallas, Texas, Arlington, if you will, and beaten the Dallas Cowboys in Jerry World by a final score of 34-6. What an absolute ass-kicking, an absolutely beautiful display. It was everything you needed from this team. There was a lot of hiccups throughout that first half, which we will also get into. But guess what? At the end of the day, the Eagles came to play. They performed well. The defense was stellar. And Jalen Hurts figured things out, did what he had to do. And the Eagles improved to 7-2 on the season. They're in first place in the NFC East. And all is right in the world. The Cowboys fall to 3-6. Now, I understand this game was no Dak Prescott. Cooper Rush is in. Trey Lance comes in. It was not a fully healthy Cowboys team. I understand that. You play with the cards you're dealt, Dallas. You play with the cards you're dealt. And you decided to employ Cooper Rush. You decided to employ Trey Lance as your backup options to Dak Prescott. And I say cheers to you. Cheers to you. Jalen was 14-20, 202 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Which that interception, I can't even blame him for. I'm going to get right in front of that. Saw a lot of people trying to think piece that interception that Trayvon Diggs had on Jalen Hurts in the end zone. Trayvon Diggs, number one, made a great play in the end zone. I will tip my cap when I see a great play get made. He read it really well, jumped the route, and did a great job there. Number two, Jalen was throwing into the sunlight because Jerry Jones doesn't account for the sun. He thinks he's more powerful than the sun. Boy thinks he's Doc Ock from Spider-Man. The power of the sun in the palm of your hands. No, Jerry, you're blinding every single player that plays in your stadium. We posted it on Twitter. The view of it. Anyone who plays in Dallas knows what it's like to play football now with an astigmatism. It's insane. But Jalen Hurts does his thing through the air. He does his thing on the ground. 2 touchdowns rushing, 56 yards on the ground on 7 carries. Saquon Barkley, not his best performance today, but he got the job done when he needed it. 66 yards on 14 carries. He also had a huge clutch catch, 12 yards, which really got the Eagles in position to score their first touchdown of the game. A.J. Brown, 5 catches for 109 yards receiving. Dallas Goedert, welcome back to the lineup, brother. He had 2 catches for 25 yards and a touchdown. Jahan Dotson had another clutch catch down the sideline for 27 yards. And Devontae Smith not really involved in this game either. Smitty will get his 2 catches for 14 yards. Johnny Wilson gets his first career NFL touchdown in this game. Nice. Smith also added a couple catches. Kenny Gainwell had a catch in this game too. The offense did what they had to do in order to perform and in order for this team to come away with a victory. The defense was the real story in this game. They got 5 turnovers, multiple fumble recoveries. They were able to get after the quarterback. How many total sacks did we rack up here? That's a half, 1.5, 2, 3. 3 total sacks. Bryce Huff with a strip sack, which was beautiful to see. Brandon Graham had a half a sack in this game. Milton Williams with a huge sack in this one. Jalen Carter with a half sack as well. C.J. Gardner-Johnson came up with a clutch interception in this game. tons of fumbles, both sides. But at the end of the day, the Eagles' defense really asserted their dominance and kept this team in the game when the first half was pretty shaky, and they were able to contribute in ways that we've wanted to see from this defense, that we knew they were capable of, and we've seen it in spurts. But this game was a full coming out party for the defense, and they did their job spectacularly. Just a beautiful, beautiful display from the defense. And the Eagles, 348 total yards to Dallas's 146. The Cowboys had 49 passing yards in this game. They net yards passing, 32. They rushed for under 100. 2.6 yards per play. The Eagles had 24 first downs in this game to Dallas's 11. The Eagles were 4 for 11 on third down, which wasn't great. That was definitely one of the not-so-bright spots. They also allowed 5 sacks, which was part of it Jalen Hurts, part of it the O-line. I'll talk about that a little bit. Jalen did lose a fumble. The Eagles had 7 penalties in this game. They punted 4 times. They outpossessed the Cowboys by nearly 10 minutes. It's a good win. It's a good win. It's a good win. And again, at the end of the day, while this game had a lot more blemishes in terms of turnovers, the sacks, the lack of third down efficiency, the Eagles made up for it in defensive prowess. They made up for it in opportunistic plays. They made up for it creating havoc against an inferior opponent. And they made up for it by keeping things simple. As soon as the second half began, they adjusted well, and they came out firing in that second half to where Kenny Pickett came into the game. They were able to get Jalen Hurts off of his feet. They were able to get Saquon off of his feet. They were able to get a lot of these backup guys into the game and allow them to get reps while also resting your starters for what is to be a short week for you because you play on Thursday Night Football against the Commanders this week. I'm totally happy with the outcome of this game. There's very little that anyone should be, disappointed with outside of what I mentioned. The 5 sacks are tough. Jalen has to get rid of the ball a lot quicker. On 4 of those 5, I think he was well above the league average for total time in the pocket. Got to be quicker getting rid of the ball. I genuinely don't think it takes that long for receivers with talent like A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, and to a tight end degree over the middle, a Dallas Goedert, to get open. So Jalen just has to be smarter and quicker with his decision-making there and get rid of the football. But at the end of the day, a win is a win. They looked great in this game as soon as, the gears started clicking, and especially in that second half, where you look at the scoring, the Eagles were up 7-3, then they were up 14-6, and then they blanked the Cowboys in the second half. And they put up 20 points of their own to add on to their lead. Okay, you were up by 8, and it was getting scary. There were moments where the Cowboys could have made this a game in the first half. They got that fumble recovery. They were down there, and the Eagles holding them to 3 was huge for just the momentum, huge for the overall vibe of the team in this game, in my opinion. So to hold them to 3 in that second quarter when the Cowboys could have easily scored a touchdown and gone ahead is a massive swing for the Birds there. And then the defense comes to play, holds the Cowboys to a shutout in the second half. That's a beautiful display of defense there. And I guess Vic Fangio is pretty damn good. There's been a lot of people talking about Vic Fangio, a lot of people saying, he's not what he used to be as a coordinator, as a coach, whatever it may be. Since the bye week, Vic Fangio has figured out the defensive scheme for this team to make them click on every last cylinder. It is beautiful to watch. I am so proud of this defense as a fan, watching the veterans to the young guys to the rookies. Quinyon Mitchell has been one of the best defensive players in the NFL this year. I'm not even talking rookies. He deserves the Defensive Rookie of the Year award. Will he get it? That remains to be seen. but my goodness, is he unbelievable. He is not afraid of anybody. I've said this for weeks. Quinyon Mitchell has been as advertised and then some. You know, coming out of the draft, I wasn't sure about Quinyon Mitchell and how his game would translate to the NFL. I thought he was going to be a very good player. I didn't know if he was going to have starting caliber talent right away. I thought it was going to be something you'd have to ease in. You know, playing in the MAC, that's not obviously, the SEC or anything like that. But my gosh, Quinyon is the truth. And I'm so happy he is an Eagle. I'm so happy he's playing well. He is so much fun to watch. If you like defensive football, if you like watching defensive backs, Quinyon Mitchell is it is a dream to watch him play football. Cooper DeJean has been unbelievable since getting put into the slot. I think he held opposing receivers he was matched up against today to 3 catches for 4 yards. He's been spectacular for this team, especially since Vic Fangio realized there was an issue of Avonte Maddox not living up to what he needed to be doing. Let's put Cooper in the slot, and Coop has been magnificent. C.J. Gardner-Johnson comes up with a huge interception. He played one of his best games today. Reed Blankenship comes up with a fumble, tries to do the headstand celebration, looked like he was doing the worm, and guess what? This team is having fun. At the end of the day, that's what matters. This team is having fun. They look like they're just enjoying one another when they're out on the field, when they're on the sidelines. And that is the sign of great team chemistry. That's a sign of great leadership. And at the end of the day, there's a lot of you people online. From the high top dogs at ESPN all the way down to the independent creators like myself. Not saying I was, because I was vehemently against it, because I thought a lot of y'all were sounding very just like triggered and in the moment. But my confidence in the independent media scene, all the way up to the ESPN, all the way up to the Barstools and the Ringer and everything, were calling for Nick Sirianni's head. You were calling for Nick Sirianni's head, especially from the moment he shaved his head. Is he going through a midlife crisis? Is he having a breakdown? And then after the Eagles won that game against the Browns, there were people who wanted him fired for winning a football game. So you wanted the guy fired. I understand there were moments in the Falcons and the Saints game where we were scratching our heads and very frustrated with some decision making. But let's not forget, there's one game that this Eagles team played that they should have won that they lost out of their 2 losses this year. And that is the Falcons game. Saquon dropped that pass. Guess what? I'm beyond that at this point, okay? I'm beyond it at this point. It's a loss. You got to chalk it up. It's week 2. It's still early. Whatever. The Eagles, with their situation injury-wise, with Devontae, AJ, and Lane being out for that Bucs game, they were never winning that game. They were trying to get through that game injury-free into the bye week. And look what they've done since the bye. They've gotten healthy. They've regrouped. They've figured some things out, pieces-wise, schematics-wise. And they've won 5 in a row out of the bye. A lot of you wanted Nick Sirianni fired. But guess what? Nick Sirianni wins football games. I don't care if you think he's goofy, if he says some things that are, not what you want from a head coach. At the end of the day, Nick Sirianni gets this team motivated. He gets this team on the right page, on the same page, and they win football games. He is 9th all-time in NFL history right now in winning percentage as a head coach. 9th. The dude wins. And that's what matters in the NFL. This Nick Sirianni gets the guys in motion, gets them ready to go week in and week out. And more often than not, this team's winning football games as Nick Sirianni is the head coach of the team. There's a lot of teams right now in the NFL. You look around the NFL, which we'll do in a moment. There's a lot of teams that wish they had the whole setup of Nick Sirianni. And a lot of that is obviously talent on this roster that Howie Roseman has assembled. A lot of that has to do with the coordinators on the team. But guess what? At the end of the day, who's everyone reporting to when it comes to game day operations? It's Nick Sirianni. And until proven otherwise, I'm going to be riding and flying high for the bald eagle, because the bald eagle flies again for 5 in a row. 5 in a row, 7 out of 9. You beat Dallas for the first time in Dallas since 2017. Nick Sirianni's a winner. I don't care if he's goofy. I don't care if he banters back and forth with fans. I don't care if he's a hothead, when somebody ruffles his feathers. I don't care if he cries on the sideline before the Super Bowl. The dude's a winner. And if you want to know what the outside looking in looks like, look at what's going on in Chicago. Look at what's going on in Dallas. Look at what's going on in New York. Both teams that play in New Jersey that claim New York. Look at what's going on in New Orleans, where they had to fire a coach already. Look at what's going on in Carolina. Let's take a sneak peek at some of these other teams that would do egregious things to have the success that Nick Sirianni is having right now as a head coach, and have him as their head coach. Because I can guarantee you more than half the league would sign up for Nick Sirianni right now. And we're fortunate that we have him as our head coach, because he gets these guys going and he gets these guys to win. And there's a saying from Coach Brian Holman from the Boston Cannons and the PLL, which I love from the moment he said it to us in a press conference a couple summers ago. He was asked what the buy-in is from his team. And he said, these guys don't buy in. They believe in. And watching what Nick Sirianni does, the Eagles believe in Nick Sirianni and what this Eagles team is trying to accomplish. They're not buying into anything. You're not selling them something. You're giving them something to attain and something to progress towards. And there's belief in that. There's belief in every single guy on this Eagles roster to go out and perform so that the ultimate goal can be reached. And that's being back on the mountaintop and being Super Bowl champions. Flying high with the bald eagle, baby. Eagles are 5-0 since Nick Sirianni shaved his head. He's a motivator. He gets them going. I'm super proud of this team as a fan. You should be too. The defense has been unbelievable. A couple hiccups on the offense today, but at the end of the day, they still got the job done, and they beat an inferior opponent. That's what you've been asking this team to do, is take care of business when they're playing teams that are worse than them. And look at what the Eagles have been able to do over this stretch. They have taken care of business against teams that they should beat. They have beaten teams like the Green Bay Packers, a good football team in Brazil. They have beaten a New Orleans Saints team, who at the time a lot of people thought were the best team in football, and now they stink. They beat an inferior opponent. They beat the Cleveland Browns. They demoralized the New York Giants. They demoralized the Cincinnati Bengals, who a lot of people view as a playoff team coming into the season, who a lot of people still believe can make the playoffs. They demoralized them by 20 points. They beat the Jacksonville Jaguars, an inferior opponent. They demoralized a battered Dallas Cowboys team who, guess what, everyone? Inferior opponent. The Cowboys stink this year. They're cooked. They're done. The Eagles took care of business. Now, let's talk about this section of games. It's brought to you by 47 brand. 47 brand, truly the best in the game. I've been wearing their hats since before they were on board as a partner. I've believed in 47 brand for a long, long time. You guys see me wearing the Roscoe Hitch right now, which is their rope hat version of the Hitch, which is the most comfortable hat in the game. Shop for your favorite sports fan, whether it be NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB, NASCAR, college sports. They've also got Premier League hats and gear in for a select group of Premier League teams, which I'm sure more and more will continue to roll out as the months go by. 47 brand, I can't endorse it enough. They are truly the best. Use our link in the description. Shop for your favorite sports fan this holiday season and all year round, and get free shipping on all orders from our friends at 47 brand. That's free shipping when you use our link in the description for all orders for your favorite sports fan at 47 brand. Why did I say 5 weeks ago, coming out of the bye, that out of the bye, this group of games, these 5 games were going to tell us everything we needed to know about the Philadelphia Eagles? That's because they were playing teams that I viewed that were beatable. They were playing teams that I felt like this Eagles team coming into the year should be able to beat. The Cleveland Browns, the New York Giants, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Dallas Cowboys. I viewed this as a gauntlet stretch in terms of opponents that the Eagles need to showcase to their fans, showcase to the front office, and showcase to themselves that they can handle business against them. 2 of those games were at home, 3 were on the road, and they did just that. They went 5-0 in this stretch. They answered every question I needed answered. They told me everything I needed to know about this team. Number 1, this team is a defensive-minded football team. I know Nick Sirianni's an offensive-minded head coach. I know they have so much talent on offense. At the end of the day, this defense is what's going to propel this Eagles team forward. Rest of November rolls around, late November, December, January, and hopefully we're sitting here talking in February about the Eagles playing in New Orleans. The defense is going to be the reason why. The defense is tenacious. They are nasty. They grind out games. They keep the Eagles in games. Like I said, in that second quarter, if the defense breaks there and the Cowboys score a touchdown, who's to say the game doesn't flip a little bit and the Eagles are pressing more and they're overthinking drives? The defense has been a key throughout this 5-game stretch where they did not give up a defensive touchdown against the Cleveland Browns. That was a special teams snafu where a blocked kick gets returned. Okay? So no defensive touchdowns there. You hold the Giants to 3 points. Cincinnati Bengals score 17 against you. Guess what? The Bengals have, out of all the teams you played in their current state, the Cincinnati Bengals were probably the best offense you faced. And you held Joe Burrow to 1 touchdown passing and Chase Brown to 32 yards rushing and a touchdown, which was pretty much like right in the red zone. 2 touchdowns there. Jacksonville. Trevor Lawrence scores 2 rushing touchdowns. Throws 2 interceptions. They don't really do much other than Trevor Lawrence scoring 2 rushing touchdowns. Okay, so that's 4 total touchdowns. And then today you hold the Cowboys to 2 field goals. In 5 games, the Eagles have surrendered 4 touchdowns on defense. You're telling me that's not a defensive football team? You're telling me that this team defensively is holding 5 NFL opponents to 4 touchdowns in 5 weeks, less than a touchdown per week over the last 5 games?
At the Vineland Municipal Utilities, we understand that when our business community thrives, we all win. As a not-for-profit utility, our reliability, lower cost of operations, and flexibility in meeting customer needs make doing business in Vineland beneficial to your bottom line. What's more, we are able to do so while maintaining our commitment to environmental stewardship. We look forward to helping you achieve your business goals now and for years to come. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season.
That's number 1. Number 1, they are defensive-minded. Number 2, Jalen Hurts, outside of today's game, has relatively taken care of the football. I needed to see that from Jalen Hurts. Through four out of these 5 games, 80% of the time, Jalen Hurts took care of the football. No interceptions. It was really dialed in 4 out of the 5 games. Today, things got a little wonky. Things were a little off the mark offensively in that first half. But Jalen recovered, okay? And the defense held it down to allow Jalen to recover. Taking care of the football was something I needed to know about this team. The turnover battle, the Eagles ran away with it because in 4 out of the 5 games, you did not turn the football over. The other thing I needed to see was winning on the road. Winning on the road was going to be key. You went into New Orleans prior to the bye, and you played in Brazil prior to the bye, which I view as a road game, even though it's technically a home game. You were on the road for that. You win in Brazil. You win in New Orleans. You go to New Jersey and beat the Giants. You go to Cincinnati and beat the Bengals, and you go to Dallas and cap off what I needed to know there. You've won 5 games on the road away from Lincoln Financial Field this year. That, to me, is huge. They are 5-1 away from Lincoln Financial Field this season. That is a huge thing for me, is that this team, when they're away from home, they take care of business. When they're at home, they've taken care of business for the most part outside of that Falcons game. 5 wins away from Lincoln Financial Field. Being able to win on the road is huge, and being able to prove it to yourself early in the season, not having to wait to win on the road, I think is a huge confidence boost for any team in the NFL, because when the playoffs roll around, you're going to have to figure out sometimes, how do I win on the road? How do I win away from my home stadium? And if you get to the Super Bowl, you're going to have to win at a neutral site, this being New Orleans, and figuring out how to win on the road. Why was this stretch so important as well? Number 4, your upcoming schedule is tough. There's no sugarcoating what is upcoming for the Philadelphia Eagles. Their next 5 games, their next pocket of games, just like this pocket was. Short week against the Commanders at home. Then Sunday Night Football in LA against the Rams. Then on the road, December 1st against the Baltimore Ravens in a place where you have never won in franchise history. Then you're home against the Panthers, and then you're home against the Steelers. That is a tough pocket of games for this team. So to be able to win these past 5 games and go 5-0 in this stretch stacks wins for you when the opponents get tougher. It gives you a little breathing room. It gives you the ability to say, "Hey, we've been on the road before. We've come on the road and won games. Let's do it again. We got to be able to beat tougher opponents now." You've given yourself a little bit of breathing room overall. Obviously, the Commanders are still right there with you, so that's a huge game on Thursday. But to stack wins, build a little currency in the NFC postseason race, these 5 games were huge. And to come away from it 5-0 is a massive, massive win for the Eagles. Very, very pleased with that. So, you look at your schedule upcoming, and that is a huge takeaway from this. And then number 5, this team proved that they can win as a team week over week over week over week. It wasn't the roller coaster that the first 4 games of the season were. It wasn't a lot of ups and downs across the board. These 5 games that they played, we've talked about the Browns game, we've talked about the Jags game where some things happen and it's a completely different looking game, which is how we should feel. Obviously, the box score and the stats are going to read differently, but if you watch the game, you know what happened. The Eagles flat out dominated 5 opponents week over week over week over week. They didn't squeak by in any of those wins. They imposed their will on 5 straight opponents and did what they had to do to win. That's impressive. You won as a team. You've learned to win as a team. Every year, your roster is different in the NFL. I don't care how many returning players you have. I don't care, what the story is. I don't care if you're running it back. You're going to have different players on the roster. This team learning how to win together with 2 new coordinators, with Nick Sirianni navigating kind of a new role as a head coach as well, is huge for this football team. So to be able to win together, that's huge. Those are the 5. You found your identity. You're a defensive-minded football team. You won the turnover battle for 5 straight weeks. You won on the road. You gave yourself breathing room with your schedule, and you've learned to win as a team. That is what this team has taught me and what we have learned about this team and everything we've needed to learn about this team over the last 5 weeks. And now, this next pocket of games, we're going to learn a lot about what this last 5-game pocket has established for this team. We're going to learn what those 5 things I just laid out for you chalk up when you go and have a short week against a division rival at home. You're going to learn flying across the country for primetime Sunday night football what these things do for you, those 5 things I laid out. You're going to learn what going on the road playing a team that a lot of people view has multiple MVP candidates on it, and going to a place where you've never won in franchise history, what these things can do for you. You're going to learn playing an inferior opponent in this pocket of games and not taking them for granted. And you're going to learn how to win a defensive-minded football game against your cross-state rivals. There's a lot to take away from the next 5 games for the Eagles, but guess what? They passed every test for me with flying colors over the past 5 weeks, and that's a damn good sign of a damn good football team. And I hope a lot of people are sitting on their couches, sleeping at night, feeling like absolute bozos that they wanted to fire Nick Sirianni. They were questioning Jalen Hurts. That the defense didn't have it. There were so many takes about this team. And I hope you all feel silly. Shout out to the Birds. 7-2 is nothing to sneeze at. Still a lot of work to be done. But they are 2 wins away from a winning season already. And it's November 11th as you guys are listening to this. Let's move right along and go around the NFL from this week of action. Your Week 10 recap thus far is brought to you by Paramount Plus. That's right, guys. We are a Paramount Plus pod. Paramount Plus, truly the best of the game, best bang for your buck streaming platform, in my opinion. You are getting everything and then some from Paramount Plus when you are streaming your favorite shows, movies, and, of course, live sports on Paramount Plus. The Eagles were on Paramount Plus today, and you can stream the NFL on CBS and watch your local game live on Paramount Plus all NFL season long. Stream the NFL on CBS and watch your local game live on Paramount Plus all season long. Try it for free. Click our link in the description and sign up for Paramount Plus today. And stream your favorite team all season long. Check your local listings with CBS and stream the NFL on CBS live all season long on Paramount Plus. Try it for free with our link in the description. Around the NFL, Thursday Night Football was a doozy. Those previously mentioned Baltimore Ravens squeak by the Cincinnati Bengals 35-34 on Thursday. The Panthers in overtime survived Daniel Jones and the Giants 20-17. The Patriots beat down the Chicago Bears 19-3. The 49ers squeak by the Buccaneers 23-20. The Chiefs the voodoo magic of Kansas City continues. They block a 35-yard field goal with 1 second left by Will Lutz to win 16-14. Josh Allen and the Bills take down the Colts 30-20. The Steelers come through for the Birds and beat Washington in Washington, which helped propel the Eagles into first place in the NFC East after the Birds took down the Cowboys today. But the Steelers win 28-27. The Vikings, in a gross game, survive Jacksonville 12-7. The New Orleans Saints take down the Falcons 20-17. The Chargers zap the Titans 27-17. The Cardinals jettison the Jets out of the desert 31-6. The Eagles take down the Cowboys 34-6. And the Lions on Sunday Night Football, by the skin of their teeth, kick a game-winning field goal and take down the Texans in Houston 26-23. And then Monday Night Football concludes Week 10. It will be Dolphins at Rams for your Monday night game. And then right before you know it, it's Eagles Commanders Thursday Night Football on the 14th at the Link. A lot of crazy stuff happened in the league so far. Obviously, we still have one more game. But looking at the standings right now, the Buffalo Bills, just give them the division. The AFC East is cooked. The Bills are 8-2. The Jets and Patriots are both 3-7. The Dolphins are 2-6. The Chiefs in the AFC West 9-0. The Chargers are 6-3. Broncos 5-5. Raiders are 2-7. The AFC North, the Steelers are 7-2. The Ravens are 7-3. The Bengals are 4-6, and the Browns are 2-7. And then the AFC South continues to be the most mid-division of all time. Texans are 6-4, Colts are 4-6, Titans are 2-7, Jags are 2-8, and then we go to the NFC. The Birds flying high on top in the NFC East, 7-2. The Commanders are 7-3, Cowboys 3-6, Giants 2-8. The NFC West is all clogged up. It's the Cardinals at 6-4, the 49ers at 5-4, the Rams at 4-4, still yet to play, the Seahawks at 4-5. They had a bye this week. The Lions, who squeaked by, they are 8-1. The Vikings are 7-2. The Packers are 6-3. And then the Bears, looking like that dragon meme, the dragon with its tongue out, they are 4-5. And then in the NFC South, the Falcons are 6-4. The Bucks are 4-6. The Saints are 3-7, and the Panthers are 3-7 as well. And I believe after this week, the Eagles improved to being second in the NFC in terms of points against, and overall in the NFL they are tied with the Chiefs for top 5. So right now the Chargers have only given up 118 points on the season, which is crazy. The Steelers have only given up 146 points on the season. The Minnesota Vikings have given up 157. The Eagles and Chiefs have only given up 161. And I believe the next in line is 171 167 by the Bears, and then 171 by the Lions. So the Eagles are still in the top 5 in points against this season. In points allowed, they've only given up 161 points on the year. They've scored 233, so they've crossed the 200-point threshold. Just the Eagles and the Commanders, only teams in the NFC East to do that right now. But mostly every team in the NFC has crossed that point except for the Panthers, the Bears, the Rams, who are still yet to play, the Giants, and the Cowboys. But the Eagles' score differential is fantastic. You know, they've scored 233. They've only given up 161. Plus 72 on their score differential, which is a very nice score differential, if I do say so myself. The Commanders, the only other team with a positive one in the division, with a plus 73. So right there with the Eagles, plus 72, plus 73 for Eagles and Commanders respectively. You got to feel good about this team right now. Just looking at the landscape of the NFL standings and what the playoff picture is going to be like. Obviously, the Lions are the 1 seed right now if the season ended today because of tiebreakers, and obviously they have a better record. But the Eagles right now would be the 2 seed in the NFC playoffs, and that's pretty cool. To look at how far this team has come from what I love how Saquon Barkley called out the media today and said that they were the ones kind of projecting this up and down start. And they've never lost sight of what this season was going to be. But right now, the Lions would be the 1 seed. The Eagles are the 2 seed. They have a 2-game lead on the Falcons, and that's a huge thing because the Falcons have the tiebreaker over the Eagles. The Cardinals are the 4 seed. The Vikings are the 5 seed. Commanders 6 seed. Packers 7 seed, which means the Rams, 49ers, Bears, Seahawks, Buccaneers, Cowboys, Saints, Panthers, and Giants. Kibosh. No playoffs for them. But you want to stay ahead of the Falcons, continue building, there, and then, you see where it goes. It goes from there. The beauty of the NFL is that it's any given Sunday, and the Eagles have been doing a great job the past 5 weeks and have really built a good currency for themselves to continue pushing forward and being a dominant force in the NFC and in the NFL across the board. This team is legit, and they are going to be fun to watch when it gets colder. Saquon Barkley running the football, this defense being tenacious. They're going to be an awesome, awesome watch. So very excited about the way that the Eagles are playing right now. And to that, it's Victory Monday. Crack open an ice-cold Kenwood beer, the official beer partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. It's a refreshing light beer, just 4.1% ABV, only 120 calories, just 8 grams of carbs. You can find Kenwood beer at your local liquor stores, or go to kenwoodbeer.com and use the Kenny Finder to see who has it on tap in the Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Maryland, New Jersey, and Delaware areas. Must be 21 or older to do so, and of course, please drink responsibly. It was a dream come true for Kenwood Beer to see Kenny Pickett handing the ball off to Kenny Gainwell, a Kenny connection for the people. But hey, Eagles fans, Steelers fans, Ravens fans, crack open an ice-cold Kenwood beer because your teams are celebrating victories in Week 10. Drink responsibly, kenwoodbeer.com. The basketball team in this city, the Philadelphia 76ers. The Philadelphia 76ers. They finally win a game at home this season, ladies and gentlemen, and our Sixers game recap is brought to you by our good pals over at FOCO, the leaders in forever collectibles. And recently, FOCO has been releasing lots of new merchandise and products for all fans to show off their favorite team, including our Philadelphia 76ers. I want to share with you guys some of the awesome items that you guys should be checking out to gear up for this Sixers season. We obviously know Joel Embiid is going to be back on Tuesday. NBA Cup gets going. That's when the real season starts for this team. But check out the link in the description. We have a whole Sixers shopping list for you guys from our awesome friends over at FOCO. You guys have seen me wearing the Phillies overalls all the time. Well, guess what? You can get Sixers overalls now to rock at the Wells Fargo Center. You can get a Joel Embiid. It's uncanny how awesome this bobblehead is. 76ers big head bobblehead of Joel Embiid. They've got the 3-pack friendship bracelets to rock down at the Farg. 76ers team. Who doesn't love a good team gnome? Gnomes are awesome. They've also got the bottle cap wall sign. They've got an action backpack, and I think one of the most underrated gifts for somebody this holiday season, a Sherpa plush throw blanket. 76ers team property Sherpa plush throw blanket. Absolutely amazing stuff. get your Sixers overalls to go down to the NBA Cup. Watch them take on the Knicks. Wear your overalls down at the Farg this season. Get your friendship bracelets going because, the power of friendship wins, everybody. The power of friendship wins. Check out our link, our shopping list from FOCO to rep the 76ers all season long and your favorite sports teams across the board. Officially licensed by FOCO and officially licensed Major League Baseball, the NFL, NBA, NHL, WWE, college sports, you name it, FOCO's got it. Check out our Sixers shopping list and rep those 76ers down at the Farg, and hopefully it starts bringing some wins like it did tonight as I record this. And thank you to FOCO for sponsoring the podcast. The 76ers, baby. The 76ers. They beat the Hornets. They beat the Hornets at home, and it went to overtime. It was 107-105. Paul George doesn't play in overtime because of a minutes restriction and resting him and making sure that he stays healthy. Whew. Tough. I was watching football, so I wasn't really locked into this game. I was kind of following along, but tip of the cap, kudos to Yabu, my guy, Gershon Yabusele, and Jared McCain. Jared McCain led the team in scoring tonight off the bench. 31 minutes off the bench for the Sixers tonight. 27 points, was playing lockdown defense on LaMelo Ball. And guys, it feels good to be right about another young player in the city of Philadelphia. I am always dialed in on the young Phillies prospects and everything. I'm typically dialed in on NFL draft prospects that the Eagles bring in. I was all in on Tyrese Maxey, and man, does it feel good to be right about Jared McCain. He was my guy from the jump. He is who I wanted on this team, and he is legit. Jared McCain hooped against the Hornets. 27 points off the bench. He's the first rookie this season with 27 points, or a 20-plus game off the bench this season in the NBA. He's been as advertised. He's so quick and shifty. I love his game, and he's holding it down. And Tyrese Maxey is out right now with that hamstring injury. He's going to be out a couple weeks, which this team just cannot catch a break. And you're going to need guys like Jared McCain to step up when you have guys like Maxey out. You're going to need this team to have guys have games and have them perform. And Yabu and Jared McCain and even Jeff Dalton tonight with 11 points in 23 minutes really stepped up for you. It feels good to be right about Jared McCain. And the Sixers finally getting a win at home for the first time this season. They're 2-7. 2-7 on the season. And they have not been at full strength the entire year. It's crazy right now that your bottom three teams are the Raptors, the Bucks, and the Sixers. But you look at it and you look at the standings. Nobody in the NBA outside of the Celtics and Cavaliers in terms of the Eastern Conference are good right now. The Pacers are the 3 seed in the Eastern Conference, and they're 5-5. The Magic are 5-6. The Knicks are 4-5. The Heat are 4-5. The Nets are 4-6. Hornets are 4-6. Bulls are 4-6. Pistons and Hawks are 4-7. The Wizards are 2-6. The 76ers have not had Joel Embiid at all this season yet. Paul George did not start the season healthy, and Tyrese Maxey is out now, and they're 2-7. Okay? You look at the West. The West is where things are more difficult. I'd much rather the Sixers be where they are, being in the East, than having to compete with from 1 to 12 right now, being 1 to 11 are 500 or better in the West. 3 through 15 in the East are 500 or worse. So there's a lot of growing room for this Sixers team. There's a lot of healthy to get for this Sixers team. But as I've said, real season starts Tuesday. NBA Cup starts Tuesday. Joel Embiid back on Tuesday. Tuesday. What's up, brother? Shout out Sketch. Yeah, I mean, right now I am least concerned with the 76ers in terms of teams playing in this city right now. The Eagles obviously have my number one priority. I'm even more dialed in on what the Phillies have going on because you guys know that's my team. That's the squad that I pay attention to so much to a sicko degree. The Sixers are not healthy. They are a shell of themselves right now in terms of who is available for them, in terms of just the way they're playing. I can't get invested in October, November basketball when they don't even have a full roster yet. You know, I can't get worked up about the Sixers right now. That's where I'm at. I watch from afar. I pay attention to what's going on. But unless it's your job and you cover the team, and if you're just a fan and you're getting caught up about what the Sixers have going on right now and you're pissed that they're 2-7, just take a step back and look at the optics of the team and look at what's going on with the team right now, and then I implore you to just relax. All right? You know, if Joel Embiid comes back and digs this team out of the mud that they have put themselves into and gets them to the playoffs, it'll be a miracle in and of itself. So we'll see what happens with the hoops in South Philly, but I'm just very happy and proud of Jared McCain because he's a real hooper. He's an awesome dude, and deserves the love. You know, deserves the hype and the excitement that tonight's game against the Hornets brought. And you know, we move from here. You know, you look at the Sixers schedule upcoming. NBA Cup gets going on Tuesday against the Knicks. Wednesday, you're home against the Cavs. That should be a doozy of a game. Then NBA Cup on the road Friday against the Orlando Magic. Then Monday, you're in Miami. Wednesday, you're on the road in Memphis to take on the Grizzlies. And then you're back home Friday, November 22nd. NBA Cup against the Nets. And then you're home against the Clippers on Sunday, November 24th. Then November 27th, you're home against the Rockets. Then you're at the Pistons. And then December 3rd, final round of group stage of the NBA Cup in Charlotte against the Hornets. That's your upcoming schedule. It's tough, you know, when you look at a Knicks rivalry, Joel Embiid's first game back. There's going to be a lot of microscopes on that game. Take it with a grain of salt. You got the undefeated Cavs. You go down to Orlando to take on the Magic, the Heat, the Grizzlies, the Nets, the Clippers, the Rockets, Pistons, Hornets. Like, it's all teams that, when they're relatively healthy, you should be able to beat. And luckily for the Sixers in this stretch, Tuesday, Wednesday is a back-to-back, and that is the only back-to-back in that stretch. So you probably will only be without Joel Embiid / Paul George against the Cavs, which is just fantastic. But, I mean, you'll have Joel for a majority of this final couple weeks in November and going into December, because then after that, your next back-to-back is Hornets, and then you come home to play the Magic twice at home, which is interesting. I don't know if that's preliminary NBA Cup stuff. I don't know what that is. That's interesting. 2 straight home games against the Magic. But we'll see. You know, it's a waiting game with the Sixers right now. And if you're overly worried about them, I implore you to just take a deep breath and relax. Final bit here. It is brought to you by a couple people. First, our merch partners, PHI Apparel Company, the best merch in the game. You want to stand out in the crowd. You're going down to the Wells Fargo Center. You're going to the Link. You want to get ready for spring training. You want to, rep your favorite sports teams. You want to rep Underground Sports Philadelphia. PHI Apparel Company is the place to do it with their designs for all that are just beyond unique. You are going to stand out in the crowd. Rep Underground Sports Philadelphia. Get our merch. When you get your merch, tag us in it. We'll repost it everywhere. But when you go to check out, when you're filling your cart up to the gills, before we know it, Black Friday will be here too. Fill your cart up to the gills. Get your Underground Sports Philadelphia podcast merch. And use code UNDERGROUND at checkout for 10% off your next merch order. That's code UNDERGROUND at phiapparel.co, or click the link in the description and use code UNDERGROUND. You get 10% off your next merch order. Also want to talk to you guys about our awesome pals over at Tomahawk Shades, the best small batch eyewear in the game, from sunglasses to blue light glasses to prescription lenses, and it's almost that time for ski goggles. Tomahawk Shades has you covered. Two brothers on Long Island started it because they didn't want to be paying the exorbitant price for eyewear when you can get the same feel, the same, if not better quality, and now it is far superior quality for a fraction of the price. Go to TomahawkShades.com, browse their entire collection of sunglasses, blue light glasses, and small batch eyewear. Also, you can download the Tomahawk Shades app and do the same exact thing on your phone. App Store, Google Play Store. And when you go to checkout, use code USP and you get 25% off your next order at TomahawkShades.com or in the Tomahawk Shades app. That's code USP at TomahawkShades.com for 25% off your next order from our friends at Tomahawk Shades. Let's get into this Matvei Michkov healthy scratch debate. Matvei scratched the past couple of games for the Flyers. They go 1-1 in the shootout both times. They win the shootout against the Lightning on Thursday, and then they lose the shootout against the Panthers on Saturday. People freaking out about Michkov being a healthy scratch just because he is this savior of the franchise. He is this young face. Why are we healthy scratching a guy? Let him play through some of the struggles. I feel like so many people in Philly, because we typically have successful teams where we can afford to play young guys all the time and let them go through the growing pains of a season and of a slump or whatever you want to call things. We're not used to player development at the big league level. We're not used to it. It's very rare. We need to remember that Matvei Michkov, while wildly talented, is still just 19 years old. And while he did thrive and succeed in the KHL, he's learning the NHL game. And it does a player a lot of good to be able to see and visualize the game. And when you're watching it from up top, where a lot of people don't realize the guys who are not playing that night, you're up in the rafters pretty much. And watching it from down below, you're getting an all 22 type of view. It does a lot of good for you to learn and watch the game develop and watch the game process. Put yourself in the shoes, or the skates in this instance, of where things would be, but you're just visualizing it. You're learning. You're being a visual learner. And it does so much for a player to be able to see that and to learn that way. And I think people are just overreacting. Michkov was never going to play all 82 games. It's not some Iron Man situation for him. He's going to learn. He's going to develop. We are developing talent right now for the Flyers. This is year one of a rebuild. Let the talent develop. It's like a slow cook. Okay? It's going to take time. It's not going to, you don't just pop this team in the microwave and call it ready to go. That's what they've done the last decade. The Flyers the last decade have put this team in the microwave, trying to heat it up and get it going and try to find success. They've got this on the smoker out in the backyard at a nice hot temperature. It's going to be slow cooked. And then we're going to have brisket and ribs and chicken and Everything you can think of falling right off the bone when it's ready to go. Okay? This is year one of the rebuild. This is the process of development. This is player development. This is smart. There's no need to get up in arms. Flyers fans, you need to relax. I've seen way too many crazy, outlandish takes about Michkov being a healthy scratch the past couple of games. Take a deep breath, pump the brakes. It's going to be fine. The Flyers won a game. They went to a shootout with the defending Stanley Cup champions. They've got a nice little schedule upcoming as well. Looking at the rest of November here. As you guys are listening to this, the Flyers play at home against the Sharks Monday night. Then they go up to Ottawa on Thursday. And then they come home for a nice little homestand against the Sabres on Saturday the 16th. Then they're home on Monday the 18th against the Avalanche. Home against the Hurricanes on Wednesday the 20th. Home against the Blackhawks, 1 p.m. puck drop on Saturday, November 23rd. Home against the Golden Knights on Monday, November 25th. Then they go to Nashville to take on the Predators the night before Thanksgiving. And then Black Friday, 1 p.m. puck drop against the New York Rangers at home. And then they are on the road to finish up November in St. Louis to take on the Blues on November 30th. There's a lot of opportunity for the Flyers in these games, and I think that's the other part of this too, is like the Flyers have a shit ton of games coming up. Get Michkov off his feet a little bit. You know, he has not been good in 5-on-5s. Let him kind of visualize from up top and see the game develop, and then get him back out on the ice. It's going to be fine. Everyone just needs to relax, take a deep breath, calm down, take a little nap, take a little tiger snooze. Relax, honk shoe a little bit. We're going to be all right, okay? This is year one of the rebuild. Let this thing slow cook on the cooker, on the smoker out back. Don't even think about putting this in the microwave. This thing needs to be slow cooked, not zapped. Last bit here. As well, kind of crazy. I'll definitely talk about this with Harrison a little bit more since he's got a little bit more soccer knowledge across the board than I do. Crazy Jim Curtin fired by the Philadelphia Union, parting ways. He was the longest tenured head coach of any sports team in Philadelphia. Now that title belongs to Nick Sirianni. Jim Curtin is the Philadelphia Union for as long as I've known them, and I was stunned to see that news. I was stunned that he was one of the few good things that team had going for him this year, and you let that walk out the door is crazy to me. I don't know, man. We're upon some dark days for the Philadelphia Union down there at Subaru Park. That's what it feels like to me. But let me know in the YouTube comment section. Leave me a voicemail. Your thoughts on Jim Curtin being relieved of his duties with the Philadelphia Union. Talk to me about the Birds. Talk to me about the Sixers, the Flyers, the Phillies, the Wings, the Water Dogs. I want to hear from you guys. Speakpipe.com/Underground Sports Philadelphia. Leave me a voicemail any day of the week, any time of the week. They'll be featured on the episodes as they come in. Be sure to follow us on the socials at Underground PHI, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitch. You name it, we're on there. Follow us. You can follow me on Twitter at KBIZZL311, KBIZZLE11 on Instagram and Threads. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Leave a 5-star review. It goes a long way for helping this show continue to grow, helps more people find Underground Sports Philadelphia, lets us do more dope stuff with and for you guys. And subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. That is where you get full video episodes of this show twice a week, full video episodes of every show on our network, clips, shorts, live streams, original video content. We are 32 subscribers away from 900. Let's get there by the end of this week. Let's make that happen. Let's go on a sub surge. And we're 132 subscribers away from 1,000. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers. Let's elevate this channel even more. Leave a like on the video. Drop a comment down below. Click the bell icon so you know when new videos go live. And, of course, like I said, leave me a voicemail. Speakpipe.com/undergroundsportsphiladelphia. And this show is presented by the City of Vineland. And whether you're a company looking to expand, relocate, or you're a new business startup, selecting the right location is critical to your success. Vineland, New Jersey offers both an affordable business location and an excellent quality of life. The city's economic development department is a one-stop source for moving your project through the development and approval process, and their goal is to make this process as smooth as possible and to provide the fastest turnaround times in the region. If you're considering potential locations for your operation, contact the Vineland Economic Development Team at 856-794-4100. That's 856-794-4100, Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. A big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast. Might try and do this to end each show, or at least every Sunday into Monday show, with a fun little fact, because we posted about this one earlier in the day. I didn't know it until he said it with Nate Burleson on the NFL on CBS pregame show interview. Saquon Barkley, coming into today's game, had never beaten the Dallas Cowboys in his career. The one time the Giants beat the Cowboys during Saquon's tenure was during the 2020 season, January 3rd, 2021. Saquon was out with his season-ending knee injury, so he never played in that win against the Cowboys. Saquon got his first win of his career on Sunday against the Cowboys wearing an Eagles uniform. So winless in a Giants uniform, comes to the Eagles, gets his first career win against the Dallas Cowboys as an NFL player. Congrats to Saquon. Absolutely deserved. But this has been episode number 689 of Underground Sports Philadelphia. I'm your boy KB. It's Victory Monday, ladies and gentlemen. Let's celebrate responsibly and celebrate the best way we know. It's Go Birds, baby. Bang, bang, Bird Gang. I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Well, Thursday, because that's when you hear the episode. But it's Wednesdays with Harry the K, recording day-wise. Myself, Harrison, on the next episode, getting you ready for Thursday night football against the Washington Commanders. Talking Sixers, talking Flyers, Union, Phillies, Water Dogs, Wings, Philly culture, whatever comes to mind. Trying to reach out to some guests about some fun culture stuff. You don't want to miss it. But until then, I'm making a wish here on 11/11. Shout out to the Arkells. I'm getting the heck up out of here, and I'm signing off. Peace.